Hello, I'm Brittany Melton. I'm a fourth-year PhD student in media studies, and I am studying the Femosphere and how women create gender-based communities online. The way I'm coming to this is that I think that women are finding spaces to be with other women online, and I do think that's important when we think of, Reddit as a space is inherently kind of dominated by men. It was created by men. There's kind of an assumption that's been studied that if, as a user, you're most likely assumed to be a man. And there's also just a very big prevalence of hate and violence against women online. And so I think in general, it's probably finding community. They range in popularity. And all of the ones that I'm studying, all of these groups are on Reddit. It's not necessarily where they're all contained to, but it is where I'm studying. The Manosphere is just a collection of groups. It's kind of an umbrella term for talking about things like red pill ideology or just red pill in general, men going their own way, pickup artists, incels, and groups of that nature. And then they're just gender-based groups. With men, it's often in response to kind of seeing a feminization in society, where the Femosphere, if we think about it as kind of a reaction to the Manosphere, the Femosphere acts more of a like call and response. So we have women going their own way to man going their own way. We've got female dating strategy is kind of a similar to pickup artists group. We've got pink pill feminism to red pill, and Femcels to Incels. Specifically, I would like to look at, there's gender critical feminism, which at its basis is just a community of women who are gender critical. Typically means that they believe the connection between being a woman and female, like there's no distinction between gender and sex. And so in that community, it's often just sharing posts, like daily interactions about things that either prove that they're right or just talking about that in general, topics of the day. And then female dating strategy, probably the most popular group, gender critical being the second most, I would think. Female dating strategy focuses on dating. They call them, they're like the by women for women dating community, and they share like dating tips. They've got a podcast, they've got, they like hate on men a lot in this group. I would call it pretty steeped in misandry often, hating men. And then there's Femcels, and Femcels are just female celibate women who have chosen to not be with men. And this inherently, I think, means that you're most likely to be heterosexual, because otherwise you could just call yourself a lesbian or queer in some way, but to inherently say you will not sleep with men suggests that sexually you would be interested in sleeping with men. In the past, when I've looked at female dating strategy specifically, I noticed that there was this use of trans exclusionary language. It's not that they outright are trans exclusionary, but often in these groups, some of the language they use does point to that, and of course, when we're talking about female dating strategy, the entire group is about women learning how to date, specifically men. And there is like this overarching sense of hetero pessimism that goes through all of these groups, where all of these women are joining these groups out of feeling frustrated towards men, and often in heterosexual relationships. And so of course that is the basis. However, then there's this use of trans exclusionary language, which kind of signals who is and is not allowed to be part of the community. And it's a lot more covert in the way it's used, but it can be very harmful because it's teaching women who participate in the community that in order to be a woman, you must be born female. There's like this push in North America towards like regression in politics, regressive body politics, regressive sexuality practices and things like that. And I think that's reflected in these kinds of communities as well, where discussions of housewifery or kind of like romanticizing the 1950s, some of these things do come out. And of course I'm thinking again of something like female dating strategy, where women are often talking about, letting man be the leader, letting men be the hunter, being hunted, like things like this, where it's, coming into your feminine energy and letting men have, masculine energy, kind of callbacks to more bioessentialist views of gender.